George Markoski, how are you? Back in lovely Adelaide, and really good to be here. It's beautiful. I've spent the last 7-8 days in London, and then I nipped off to Macedonia for a bit of a holiday. So what I did is I went to London for a one-day workshop, and this workshop's costing me, just the workshop alone is 20 grand a year, plus flights, accommodation. So I'm spending $40,000 a year just on training myself with my mentor, Dan Sullivan. And you must be wondering, you're thinking, why am I spending so much money? Like, why do I spend so much money on mentors and people to teach me how to do things and stuff like that? And part of what I'm learning is how do I create a self-managing company and how to become a better coach for our students and our members. And the thing is, the fact of it is, as my friend and mentor Anthony Robbins says, if you want to be good at something, what you want to do is you want to model excellence. What you want to do is find someone that's really good at what they do and follow what they've done. So you don't want to be a pioneer in anything that you do these days, because we live in a world now where we've got a lot more information and a lot more ability to get things. So it's great. See, back in the old days, over 100 years ago, if you wanted to become a blacksmith, you had to, as a kid, get apprenticed by a blacksmith and spend your whole life learning how to do that. Now, you wouldn't want to learn how to become a blacksmith on your own because you wouldn't have any idea how to do it. But these days, what you can do is get a mentor who's really good at what they do, and they can teach you how to become a blacksmith really quickly. So we've got the ability now to learn really quick and not spend a whole lifetime learning, which is great. So I really think that if you want to earn more, if you want to get more than what you've got, you have to become more than what you are, right? That's the only way to get more is to become more. So it's very, very important. And like I said, you don't want to be a pioneer in any sort of thing. So it doesn't matter what you're looking at learning to become, you really need mentors, someone that's got the experience to guide you along. And I spend a lot of money on educating myself, becoming excellent. See, basically, the difference between the poor and the rich, I suppose, the poor, they spend the money on entertainment and fun and things like that, and the rich do too, but a lot of, the poor say, education's expensive or getting a mentor's expensive, where the wealthy, they think differently. They think, okay, education is an investment, right? And, could I do this myself? Well, I could fantasize and think, yeah, I can do this myself, but really at the end of the day, Dan Sullivan's got 40 years of experience. So, I'm getting a bargain because I'm spending money and learning from him to become the best that I can. So therefore, I don't have that learning curve. So Malcolm Gladwell, he says that it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at something, and you don't want to be like that guy in Antarctica. There was a guy in Antarctica, a Russian scientist actually, who had appendicitis, and he had to actually do an appendix operation himself. Luckily, he knew what he was doing, but imagine how tough that would be. So if you got something wrong with you, you wouldn't do surgery on yourself, would you? Or you wouldn't try to learn it. It's a bit like anything else. If you want to invest in property, are you really going to spend 10,000 hours, and are they going to be the correct 10,000 hours, or are you going to get an expert to teach you exactly how it's done? Because I suggest it's probably a better idea to get someone that knows what they're doing to hold your hand and show you how to do it. Because at the end of the day, you learn through mistakes, and you're going to keep learning. Because when I first started investing in property, I made all normal mistakes. I was negative gearing, and I was trying flipping and doing different things, and didn't really know what I was doing, and I was very frustrated. And I wasn't getting anywhere. I was working 7 days a week. I found it very difficult, and basically I had two options. One, quit property. Door number two was figure it all out. Luckily, I didn't quit property. I didn't give up, and the reason being is I had no other options. So if you quit, you're guaranteed to lose, aren't you? So as far as I'm concerned, if you quit it, well, you're not going to get there. Now, I don't know about you, but if you're not born with a silver spoon in your mouth, and you're not going to inherit a fortune, and you're not a rock star or make a lot of money, then property is really the only way to financial freedom. And I talk a lot about financial freedom, and I'm not ashamed of it. Basically, financial freedom, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the most noble things you can do. And if you haven't replaced your income through property, I suggest that should be your number one goal right now. Because really, at the end of the day, if you want a lifestyle, if you want to create meaning in your life, you really need to get the time and the money. And once you've got time and money together, it creates meaning in your life and creates more lifestyle. And that's why passive investing is all about. what it's all about. And that's why I love property investing, which is great because it's allowed me to live the lifestyle that I want. And I remember I was flying from London through Doha, and I upgraded them online for my first part, but the second part I couldn't upgrade online. So I rocked up at the airport and I went to the counter and they had points there. And I said, look, I want to upgrade my flight. And they said, well, you can't do it till an hour before the flight goes. And the reason they do that, because there's only one seat left, they want to see if they can get someone to pay full price for it. Because, you know, the full price probably would be like 5 or 6 grand. And then I went to the other counter where you can pay to upgrade. And they're saying, well, you can't pay to upgrade unless it's 90 minutes before the flight because they're still trying to sell it online and there's only one seat left. So I'm like, okay, I'll come back here. So I'm thinking to myself, what do I do? Do I pay $2,200 for this flight and get upgraded to business class? Or do I take the risk, an extra half an hour, but there's only one seat left, and then go and use my frequent flyers? And what if I miss out? I thought to myself, you know, it'd be great if I could use frequent flyers. I've got plenty of them, I've got heaps of them, and that's how I normally upgrade myself. But I thought to myself, you know, one thing I'd hate to do is go to my frequent flyers and then realise I missed down this upgrade and then have to, you know, stay in economy for the whole 15 hours back to Adelaide because I've got a busy schedule back in Adelaide and really it's not worth my time getting punished in economy. And really, when it comes to overseas flying, I try to avoid economy like the plague. Like, I always prefer going first or business if I can. And, you know, because it's just more comfortable, it's easy, and Qatar Airways, they've got an amazing, you know, their business class is like first class in other places, like better actually, because I mean, I had my own room. So anyway, what happened was I'm walking towards the points lounge to use my points. And I heard this guy talking about Adelaide at the thing. And I thought, uh-oh. So I ran back and paid the cash and got upgraded because I thought, stuff it, I'm not risking it. And I'll tell you what, I'm glad I did because, you know, I worked hard in London. I spent a lot of money going there to really increase my skills. And what's the point of having passive income and having all these properties giving me money if I'm not going to use them to get a better lifestyle? Because that's what it's all about, better lifestyle. Now, whether you like buying business or first class doesn't matter. The moral of the story is it's great to have those options to choose what you want to do. And I really enjoyed that option. It was great because, you know, you get your own little room, you sit down and you get a little champagne and people walk past you. And I must say, sort of half of me is embarrassed because, you know, I feel like a bit of a tosser of the champagne where everyone has to walk through economy and I feel sorry for them. And the other part, you know, you feel like, hey, lucky me, you know, I'm in business class. But the good part is afterwards also, you know, when you press the button, they come and make the bed for you and had a beautiful sleep and really helped with jet lag because jet lag is one of those things that's very difficult to deal with. And I think you really get your timing right when you do it. So I'm back in Adelaide and I'm very excited about really kicking some major goals. We're all going overseas, the whole company, we're all taking most of December off. So we've only got a few months left to really help our members do what we need to do and then we're off for a bit of a holiday. I think it's important to have breaks and get some free time. So we don't know where we're going yet. We're going to look at doing something like Vanuatu or somewhere warm to get a bit of sun and get a bit of swimming in. So anyway, so what I was talking about is I'm back, I'm excited. We're going to do one more workshop. I'm going to send the details in later for what we're doing. The market here is amazing because I've been looking at what's happening in London and it's really hard to make money in London at a property. You know, I was talking to one of the top property guys in London and we were talking about demographics and what's happening in London and what's happening in Australia and everything else like that. And we're very, very fortunate what's happening here at the moment. We're really, you know, because their market's a lot more mature than us. They've had a lot longer than us. They've had more immigration in the past, which has boosted all the prices. And London is so expensive. It's crazy, you know what I mean? And people that complain about prices in Australia, you haven't been overseas. You haven't been to Hong Kong. You haven't been to London. You haven't been to China. You haven't been to New York. You haven't been Paris or anywhere because really our prices here are super cheap. It's amazing how cheap they are. And a lot of people in the world know, they're like, we can't believe how cheap property is in Australia. And you know, when you talk to people in Australia, they're like, wow, property prices are so expensive. But whenever I talk to people from overseas, they're amazed how cheap it is. And you know, people from you know, London and UK, they're like, wow, You can buy a property for 450,000 in a capital city? Like, really? Like, they don't believe it, because over there everything's so expensive. It's crazy, and the coffee's really bad. Like, I could not find a decent coffee in the whole of UK, which is really sad. If anyone's got any ideas for my next trip, please let me know. But I tried everything. I went through reviews, and all these places had 5-star reviews, and I tried the coffee. It was terrible. We're very spoiled here in Australia because I've been all around the world, and I love my coffee. And the coffee here in Australia is just the best. It really is. So, what can I do? So anyway, it's Saturday night. I thought I'd just do a quick rant, say hello to everyone, because I'm back. I've finally got over my jet lag. Last few days I've been a little bit tired, and now I'm ready to rock and roll. Enjoy Saturday night, and talk soon. Bye-bye.